Hello everyone. Today I'm presenting a beginner-friendly capstone machine learning project, which is titled at you can say employee retention or employee attrition prediction capstone project. Our main goal over here is in this project is to predict whether an employee is likely to leave the company or not using several job related and personal features. Why is this important? Because we usually see nowadays that people they are leaving the company within 2 months, within 3 months, right? And it is a bigger task than nowadays we usually see that HR are being replaced by ATS. ATS is a resume selector. Therefore, nowadays jobs are going to come where HR needs to be, popped up, and that is going to be very soon. आजकल जो HRs होते हैं वो क्या करते हैं रिज्यूमे फाइंड आउट करते हैं एंड दे हायर द एम्प्लॉय राइट नाउ देयर इज वन मोर एट्रीब्यूट अभी HRs को क्या चीज रखनी है द रिटेंशन थिंग हाउ दे कैन रिटेन पीपल क्योंकि ये एक बहुत बड़ा टास्क है फॉर अ कंपनी टू रिटेन एम्प्लॉयज क्योंकि वो जब उनके पास जो लोग हैं उनको अगर रिटेन करते हैं तो कंपनी को ही फायदा होता है और इसलिए फायदा होता है क्योंकि जो लोग कंपनी के पास ऑलरेडी हैं दे हैव लर्नड हाउ अ कंपनी इज गोइंग टू वर्क दैट इज फर्स्ट थिंग. Second thing is their loyalty. Basically, the integrity factor is there, and they know how the things are going to be. And obviously, these are the people whom we are going to rely. A company, a family की तरह होती है, so no one is willing to lose that, right? So this becomes very important task for an HR. So, well, employees attrition is one of the biggest challenge in human resources. Losing employees often comes with high cost. First of all, क्या-क्या cost होती है वहाँ पे? Recruiting, onboarding, orientation, lost productivity, etc. and so more. Because जो बंदा जाता है छोड़ के उसका रिप्लेसमेंट ऑब्वियसली इट्स नॉट पॉसिबल राइट देयरफॉर मे बी उससे अच्छा भी आ सकता है बट ऑब्वियसली वैसा नहीं हो सकता सो वहां से बहुत सारी चीजें डिस्टर्ब हो जाती है बिल्डिंग अ मॉडल दैट कैन प्रेडिक्ट एट्रिशंस अलाउज कंपनीज टू टेक प्रोडक्टिव और प्रोएक्टिव एक्शंस such as an employee engagement or better HR policies or any career planning if employees are taking a career break. So there can be multiple things which can be done on this perspective. और इसी चीज को आज हम लेके आज चलेंगे और हम देखते हैं कि किस तरीके से ये आपकी हेल्प करेगी. So this capstone project is an industry based capstone project which you can actually write that you have created for a company. Now इसमें क्या क्या चीजें इंक्लूड होंगी पहली चीज जो इसके अंदर आप इंक्लूड करोगे दैट इज गोइंग टू बी like you are going to create the data by using numpys and pandas. That is what we will be doing. I'm going to show you each and everything. First of all, let's understand what exactly is going to be project objective. So over here, let's now look at the features used in this model. Our data set includes a mix of demographic, behavioral, and job-related features. For example, age and gender gives us demographic insights. Years at company and job role gives tenure. Basically, कितने time तक वो बंदा हमारे और जो employee है he was there. Role based information, whether he liked that role or not, whether he want promotions or what exactly, how many years that person has spent, that becomes a demographic insight of it. All right. Now moving further, monthly income, obviously monetary is something which helps us to assess financial motivation and overtime. Basically employees, they do overtime also, right? Job satisfaction is one of the aspect, and as well as nowadays जो सबसे ज्यादा important है वो है work life balance which reflects employees experience. यहाँ पे हम training टाइम्स को भी और लास्ट ईयर के सेगमेंट जो लास्ट ईयर का डेटा है उसको भी हम यूज करेंगे अपने एमएल मॉडल के अंदर to show development opportunities, that what development opportunities an employee wants. So considering all that, जो हमारा target variable होगा वो होगा attrition, which is 1 if the employee leave or 0 if employee stayed. So that is going to be in that particular format. अगर हमारा attribution 1 आता है, it means that employee is going to leave. अगर हमारा attrition 0 आता है, then it means the employee is going to stay. This is the column we want our model to predict. And all the things which I have just shared, age, income, job role, satisfaction, or you can say work-life balance, these are all inputs which we will be using to create this model. I hope you have understood the model. Now let's quickly see the features used in the dataset, and in detail I'm going to share each and everything inside it. Moving to the next one, here are the features which you are going to use in this particular dataset. Let's now look onto it. Our dataset includes a mix of demographic behaviors for job-related features. For example, age and gender gives us demographic insights. Years at company and job role give tenure and role-based information. Monthly income helps us to find. So it's exactly the same thing which I have shared with you in the previous slide. Over here, you can check in detail that these are all our inputs. And the last column over here, which you are looking at, which is training time last year, attrition, that is our target. So basically, we all are working for this particular target. We are going to take the target into consideration and we are going to see how this target is going to work accordingly. Basically, when we are talking about this particular attrition, we are looking on to how this attrition is going to help us to retain more and more people. Since this is a beginner level project, we are not using real HR data due to privacy concerns. Instead, we have stimulated a realistic data using Python's NumPy library, and that is what we will be doing. But we did not just randomly assign any attrition. We followed logical rules. For example, employees with overtime, they are definitely going to say that they wanted to leave, right? And low satisfaction, low job satisfaction is obviously one, right? They will leave. And low work-life balance, definitely it's one of the aspect where people and employee they usually want. And the people who have spent less than 3 years at the company, there are also higher chances that they are going to leave the company. So if an employee meets 2 or more such criteria of these risk conditions, we have marked them as more likely to leave. This rule is based generation, ensure that our model has real world like patterns to learn from. And that is what we are going to cater in this particular ML model which we will be creating. I hope now you got better aspect and idea why we have selected it and how it is going to work. Basically, you are going to get either 0 or 1. If 0, it means the person is going to stay. If 1, then it means the person is going to leave. I hope now after this, let's quickly move to the next slide, which is data generation logic. How you are going to create the data. Basically, let me take you or walk through how we create the data for this particular project using rule-based logic. Since real HR data can be difficult to access due to privacy concerns, we generated a synthetic data set of 500 employees or records using NumPy in Python. We will just make up numbers. We use logical conditioning based on unknown factors that contribute to attrition. If an employee does overtime, that means that adds stress and may lead to leaving. That is why we have kept it. Low job satisfaction, which is rated as 1 or 2, is another red flag. Poor work-life balance is also an unknown or you can say a well-known contributor to burnout, right? Lastly, employee will with less than 3 years at a work or a company are you can say statistically more likely to leave. That's why these are all contributions which we have taken, right? We are going to use these factors to simulate realistic behavior. If an employee had two or more of these risk signals, we have set that attrition status to 1. It means that person is going to leave. If a person is not satisfied, and if he is suffering from poor life work life balance, definitely this is more likely to leave. If they're not satisfied with money they are getting or salary they are getting, or if they are less than 1 or 2 or 3 years, definitely they are not going to stay. Otherwise, it remained 0. If they are satisfied and if they are not meeting, then it means, suppose they are facing work-life balance issues. So in that case, what we can do, we can provide employee engagement trainings, right, which is going to help them to seek and to move further, right? So these are all attribute meaningful. It gives more meaningful data set for our model to learn from and make the training process more aligned with real world HR logic. And that is what we will be creating. All right. So let's quickly now move to how you are going to prepare the data pre-processing. Now we have had a data set. We move on to data pre-processing, which is an essential step before feeding any data to a machine learning model. First, we handle categorical data. Our dataset has features like gender, job role, and overtime, which are text-based, right? Machine learning algorithms can't handle text directly. So we convert these into numeric form by using label encoding. And that's why label encoding is important. For example, if male and female becomes 1 or 0, overtime becomes yes or no, or becomes 1 or 0. Each job role is also assigned a unique integer. Next, the part which we are going to do, that we split our data into X features, which is input, and Y is going to be the output, which is input variables like salary, age, uh, job satisfaction, and more. And our Y is going to be whether the person is going to stay or leave. Those are attrition, right? Then we use an 80-20 split with our test train split. 80% of the data is going to use for train the model, and 20% is going to be for the testing its performance on unseen data. This ensures that we can measure how well the model generalize more or not just memorize. So these are all data pre-processing we are going to do, and these are the steps which we will be taking. I hope the steps are pretty clear. Why label encoding is required or categorical, because if you are going to convert gender, which is like male or female, in 0 and 1, that is also going to help you. Job role, that is departmental, or that you are going to give an overtime, whether he has done overtime or not. Instead, yes or no. Or for the department, if you are going to give a unique integer. So each and everything is going to be in a categorical way. And then you can split it easily into test and train by putting what is going to be your input and output. Then we are going to run test train. We are going to train and test by 80-20 ratio. So these are all things which we are going to do when we are going to set the data. Now let's quickly move on to data generation logic. What exactly it is going to provide you. Basically, your model is going to use random forest classifier. All right. And how this classifier is going to work? That is the same model which we have used in the mini model which we created for diabetes. Uh, so this same model we are going to use over here. Let's talk about this selection, why we have chosen. So for this project, we chose the random forest classifier. It's a type of ensemble model made up of multiple decision trees. Now, over here, each tree is trained on a subset of the data and features, and the final prediction is made by aggregation of the output of all the trees, majorly voting, right? It is going to take the accuracy from each tree of the forest. This makes it more robust and accurate than a single decision tree. So we are going to train the model on the training data set using dot fit method, which we have been using model dot fit. So it could learn the pattern that leads to attrition. So random forest is a great starting model because it handles both categorical and numerical features very well. It's not sensitive to outliers. So that is what we will be doing. It has a capture complex interactions between features, and it also gives us feature importance, which we need for this particular model, which we are going to see in an upcoming slide. So let's quickly see how model evaluation is going to take place. After training the data, we test the models on predictions, right? On 20% test data, which you can see the model has not seen. So first we check the accuracy score. This tells us how many predictions were correct out of the test samples. And however, accuracy can be sometimes misleading, right? Especially if the classes are imbalanced, because we are going to create the data by using Python and NumPy, and that is going to create a random data, right, by using random command. So if the classes are imbalanced, so it is going to create a mislead judgment. So we look at the classification report. So classification report is going to include perception, right, the precise value, how many predictive positives were actually correct. And with that, that is going to be received by classification report. And that's why we are taking classification report, so that we'll get the clarity of it. Now let's quickly see the feature importance. One of the you can say advantage of using random forest is that it tells us which feature were most important in making the prediction. Earlier we used to use linear regression, and we used to take off all the segments which were not of use. Like if you remember, we created a student score prediction or admission prediction by taking TOEFL and other, and in that we created the last columns we deleted, because it was actually taking off the you can say it was degrading the accuracy of it. Here you need not to do that, because the model calculates an importance score for each and every feature based on how useful it is in splitting the data across all trees. For instance, in our model, overtime might have the highest importance, right? Indicating it's a strong signal of attrition. Job satisfaction and years at company could also rank highly. This is extremely valuable in HR teams, right? Because it gives an actionable insight. However, when we see overtime, that is a key driver, the company could explore more flexible working policies. So beyond just predicting, we are going to give deeper insights to the stakeholders who might be staying and who might be leaving. The model helps us understand why they might leave, all right? Or we can check at that point of time and we can make sure that our employees are going to stay. So this is what you will be doing, and this is how this random forest helps you to provide importance to each feature, whether it's age, whether it's because age is also one of the factor, whether is working hours or any of the attributes. So it provides, it gives importance to the features, and these features are going to help stay or help retain people in a better way. Now let's quickly see how the learning outcomes are going to be. Through this capstone project, we have walked through an end-to-end ML, which is machine learning workflow that mimics real-world use cases. The takeaways which you are going to take after completion of this particular model, that is going to be creating and understanding HR data set, pre-processing and preparing data for machine learning, selecting and training and evaluating a robust classification model, drawing insights from feature importance to guide HR decisions. This project is especially for beginners, and this is a great project to start with because it's both technically educational and business relevant. You will leave a better understanding of how ML model works and how you are going to make it feels like HR. Because we now usually think that machine learning is basically for computer science. No, it is nowadays a need. Everyone needs it, whether those are working for HR or anything, right? There was a term called like when ChatGPT was like high and it was a featured one, people were saying that it is eating the jobs. No, it was actually creating more job opportunities. The people who are not equipped with using AI or ML, only these people were replaced. If you know how to use ML, how to use AI, definitely you are the one who are required by the industry. Because if HR is obviously needed, but if HR knows how to create an ML model, he or she is going to make their work easier, right? Definitely HR job nobody can take. But if you are going to, if you can create this model and you can help yourself with that, I think you are the one which industry wants. With that, let's move to the next slide of ours. Once you are confident with the basic model, once you have created this ML model of yours, there are several exciting ways to take this project further. You can try logistic regression. This model is more interpretable and good for binary outcomes like attrition. So you can try that logistic regression. You can try Streamlit app also, which can build a simple and user interface where HR managers can input employee data and get real-time predictions. Or you can say Sharp values. You can use Sharp for explaining individual predictions. For example, why the model think a specific employee might leave. Because when you are going to directly ask the employee that you want to leave, definitely they're not going to say it. So these are all attributes which are going to help you. I hope you like the model because I'm putting in a lot of efforts to provide a best model which is going to excite you. And I try to provide each and every information related to the model so that you'll understand each part of it. Why I have selected that model, how that model is going to look like, what that model is going to bring in, and what value that model is going to show you. So taking care of all these aspects, I hope you are at a position and now you are excited also to create that. Let me quickly share with you that we are going to create the data set using NumPy and Pandas. I'm going to show that how you are going to do each and every part of it on Google Colab because most of the students, they have not installed Python in their system or they are working outside on any cafe. So would like to give them an overview that they can work on Google Colab. You need not to download Python for that in your system. You are not going to install any Visual Studio Code or IDLE or anything. You can directly go to Google Colab. You can log in onto it by using your Gmail or your Google account. Once you are up there, the only thing which you are going to do is just write the code which I am going to share in front of you. I'm going to explain each and every part of the code so that you will understand each and everything of it. We are going to go through the data once the data is created, and then we are going to see how the data is going to change each and every part which you are going to create. So let's quickly get started. Let's quickly create the data set. For the data set, you are going to go to the Google Colab and you are going to get started. So let's quickly move on to the Google Colab. Before we move ahead on Google Colab, I already have created that data set. I'm going to show the data set and I'm going to show you how you are going to run the analysis onto it. So let me quickly show that data set in front of you. All right, everyone. So once you are going to run the code, this is how the data is going to look like. So you will have age, gender. Let me quickly give it a color because I don't like this. I'm going to leave the attrition because attrition is the output which we are going to have. So this time, let me take it blue and this I'm going to keep purple only. Yeah. And I'm going to take all into consideration. Yes. So over here, if you are going to see, we have monthly income, job satisfaction, work-life balance, and training. So once you understand the data, basically you are going to understand the entire model. So over here, if you are going to see, we have age, we have gender, we have years at company, we have job role, we have monthly income, we have overtime details, job satisfaction. It is like 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Basically 4 stars. So if you have graded 1, that means low. If you have graded 4, that means good, you are satisfied. So this is how we have catered. If you talk about work-life balance 3, it is considered as okay, good, right? If it is 1 and 2, that is being considered as a risk factor, right? And training times last year. So how many training that person has taken, and these are the attributes. So what we are going to do over here, we are going to highlight the cells equal to 1. And we are going to do one more, highlight the cells equal to 2. So 1 and 2 I have highlighted. Now similarly, attribution or attrition also you are going to put equal to 1, right? Okay. Now over here, you are going to take work-life balance also. You are going to convert that also equal to 1. And the same thing you are going to do equal to 2. All right. So who have graded 1 and 2, definitely they are not happy with the work-life balance as well as job satisfaction is not there. And there are higher chances that these are the people who are going to leave. So if they are the people who are doing you can say overtime. So equal to, so I'm going to, it's a text one. So I'm going to take text conditionals over here. You can create a new rule also. Overtime, no. Format that cell contains. Yes. Okay. Now over here, can you see? 4. Job satisfaction is there, but work-life balance is 2, as well as training. So this also we are going to consider. So I'm going to take cell and that is equals to 1 and 2. So I'm going to consider this also equal to 2. So the condition is as such, out of all these job, work-life balance, and training time last year, right? If this is, or these are basically the risk factors, right? So if these risk factors, like if we are getting 2 out of all 4, If two risk factors are there, they are falling, then the attrition is going to be 1. It means the person is going to leave. So over here you can see, basically I'm going to sort it. So custom sort, expand the selection. So over here I'm going to say overtime, cell values, basically cell color, and I'm going to take this on top. All right. So as you can see over here, now I'm going to take this. Again, we are going to run the sorting or not filter. Or let's do filtering 1 and 2 only, because that is what we want to see, right? You can see maximum 1 are there with job satisfaction. Can you see that? So whoever has 1 and 2, maximum are there, right? Similarly, I'm going to do for work-life balance also, because the data which we have taken, that is basically for that particular aspect only. So I'm going to put custom sort over here also, and I'm going to keep not over time, cell color, job satisfaction this time, job satisfaction, cell color, done. All right, so this has also come up. Now I'm going to do sorting, custom sort this, and I'm going to add a level that is going to be work-life balance. And here also we are going to do cell color. As of now, we are going to keep this, and that is going to be on the top. So you can see, and maximum 1 are coming, whether you want this or not, and definitely overtime is yes. They are doing overtime, right? So this is how it works. So basically, clearly we can see that yes, there is a dependency. Now let's quickly see how data analysis is going to show. I'm going to select all, and now I'm going to see the analysis. So over here, age attrition, you can see monthly income is also there. So basically, these are all parts, like this is how you are going to get. And if you wanted to see some more charts, you can see with each and every attrition or each and every feature, it is going to create a chart for you. I would recommend all of you, whenever you get any data, do run the analysis at your end so that you will better understand the data before you run any analysis, right? At least आपको मोटा मोटा व्यू पता चल जाएगा कि आप क्या फाइंड आउट करना चाह रहे हो एंड हाउ वैलिड इज इट. समटाइम्स क्या होता है कि आपका मॉडल वर्क नहीं करेगा अगर आपका डेटा ठीक नहीं है. So it is very, very important to actually find out. Okay, so all the charts are available for you for each and every feature which is available, because what I told you, every feature is important, which you are writing, which you are typing. So considering each feature, then you are going to create and get started. Now our task is, now we have understood the data. Now we are going to create this data by using NumPy and Pandas. So now let's quickly get started. We are going to open Google Colab and we'll get started. So I'm going to keep this session till here. We are going to get started with the next session in which we are going to create the data. All right. So stay tuned, everyone, and keep learning. And this is a capstone project, and this project is very, very important.